Well, hello, my loves, and happy Sunday to you. Today is going to be a good day. We're going to be doing a 3 or 4 part series. I'm not exactly sure yet because I haven't started it, but 3 or 4 part series this week. Today will be the first one on a new concertina. We did a concertina about a month ago for fall, and now I'm going to do one for winter, and I cannot wait because that concertina was so much fun and everyone loved it and got something. Even if you're not a concertina or journaler person, there were a lot of fun things that happened in those pages that everyone loved. So I'm excited to dive in, and I hope this one will be as good as the last one. You never know, but I think it will be. So today starts the winter stencil sale as well, which is part of the reason why I'm doing the concertina, which is part of the reason why I did the concertina last time, to just kind of showcase and show off some of my favorites of the winter stencil section, which I was looking at them today and I'm like, oh, I like that one. Oh, I like that one. But what I did do is I created 2 new ones, and I'll show you those. And then I made a bunch of 5x8s of some of my existing winter stencils. So you can check those out. All the links will be down below in the YouTube description box. The link to the supplies will be down below in the YouTube description box, and the coupon code and all of that. All the winter stencils will be 15% off. So if you are wanting to create some fun winter things, you can get your hands on them at a discount. What else do I have to tell you? 2 other things, just want to let you know, just as a reminder, no pressure, Gratitude Junk Journal you can still sign up for at early bird pricing, and Wanderlust you can still sign up for. Those links will be down below, so you can check those out and see if you are interested in that. And I think that might be it. So let's jump in over here. Okay, I'm going to show you a couple things first. So first of all, I'm going to bring this out here and put these down. Look at those yummy papers. But I just want to run through real quick. So I made some smaller angel wings. I need a darker sheet of paper. This one. Let's see. Is that better? Yeah, that's better. So smaller angel wings. These are all 5x8s. Love these. I can't wait to use them. And then this is the tree. They're a little smaller. 2 trees with the mask. So you get the mask. And I have them over in my tray. Somewhere in here, I think. Ah, there's one. There's the other one. See? So with the mask. So, then the Deer Trio stencil, which I'm really excited about, the size and everything. Plus, I made these ones masks that I did not make with my other 8x10 stencil, but look at how cute those are to like stencil around. So I'm kind of excited about those, using those in the concertina. I'm going to be using all of these, I believe. I've got the snowflakes stencil. These are smaller, all smaller versions, but these also come with masks. Look at that. And then put that. I did a smaller version, a condensed version of the Nordic pattern. Look how cute. And then a smaller version of the rustic churches. And I kind of changed some of the design in this one. So I'm really excited about this. All these I'm planning on using for my concertina. Okay, now the new ones are, I have Berries and Branches. Is that what it's called? But yeah, Berries and Branches. And like I did the rambling branches last month. That was a new one and everyone loved them. And I was planning on doing this one, so I was excited because I was hoping that everyone would love the others. So this is berries and branches, and this one is eucalyptus. And the reason I did eucalyptus for holiday is because when I put up my winter stuff, it has the eucalyptus in it. So I thought this would be versatile all year round. This one would be too, but you can obviously see the holly leaves and the evergreen branches. So berries and branches, eucalyptus. Now I did those. This is 8x10s. This is what I'm going to be using the 9. These are 9x12s. Let me scooch these over. 9x12 and 9x12. So I'm going to be using the 9x12s in my concertina, but I also made 5x8s. Ta-da! Okay, those are the new and newish stencils. Now, let me move this out of the way. I did a little tea dyeing this week for some other projects. Okay, so for our concertina, my colors that I'm going to be using are somewhat winter colors for me. I don't like the typical red and green. I like kind of blues. Put some green in there, obviously, because of the branches. But I'm obviously going to throw in a little teal, maybe sneak in some magenta. But Prism Violet's definitely a great winter color. I do have out some Algerian Crimson Hue because that is a really rich, deep blue undertone red versus an orange undertone red. I have some unbleached titanium. I have some gesso for my white. I have my matte black, which is like a carbon black. And what else? Definitely raw umber. Raw umber. And then I have cobalt blue and Prussian blue. And probably I did pull out some Payne's Gray because I like that blue because it kind of represents cold and winter and that kind of thing. So I have my Payne's Gray out here. And I think that's about it that I'll be using as far as colors. Changing the value of these, of course, with white and that kind of thing. So, okay. So those are the colors and the stencils that I will be using. And all of those, even the new ones, will be 15% off for the winter sale. Okay, now, let me put this over here. Let's kind of just dive in real quick to what I have out here. Because I got a lot of questions about how I created my concertina the last time. So I want to just kind of spend a little bit of time on that before I move on and start creating. So here's what I've got so far. So this is an 11 by 17 sheet of paper. And I fold them in 3s and they look like this. Okay? I want a front flap and I want a back flap. Now I have 2 here. I want a 3rd one. I want a lot of space to create. These have been gessoed front and back already, okay? I've gessoed them. Last time I put everything together and then gessoed it, and that was kind of a pain. So I gessoed these individually, and now I will tape them. So to fold them, what I do not measure. I know a lot of you do. So, excuse me, I will go like this. I will fold it like this. And I just kind of eyeball it to see, like I start pushing down. Okay, I need to come over this way a little bit more. And then I line up my edge here. Make sure all the edges are straight here. Okay, that looks good. And then I fold it like that. Okay. That's what I've got. So now I've got these 3 pieces, and I want you to see how they go together. So I've got my front flap, I know that for sure. And this is my fold like this. This is my next fold, which is what I want, because I want them to go together like this. So you're going to have 2 folds that are up. Okay, so I'll do that like that. Then this one is up like that, so I'll have an up one here. See that? And then we'll come to the end of our book. Now, I said I wanted a front flap and a back flap. This is what I did last time. I just cut off one of the edges, which will be this one, so that I have a last flap, which will give me my closure. Okay? You don't have to do that. That's just how I do it. So let's put it all together now. So here's this one. I just want to make sure, because everyone was confused the last time I did it. So I'm going to open that up. And there's this one. Let's see, I got to make sure too, because I get confused. Okay, I want it up like this and up like this. Yes, that's right. The 2 edges that are going together are basically the same. So I'm going to open that up. Now I've got white tape. This is artist tape. You can use masking tape. And I'm just going to put my edges together here. And I'm not going to be real particular about it. I'm just going to put it down. Okay, I'm going to do the next one. I'm just going to let that one be like that. So this one's up. So this one's up. So see how those edges do the same thing? Okay, so now I will take another piece of tape. Trying to do this so I don't take up a ton of time and we can get to creating. So for me, I can kind of put the tape down to see where I'm at, if I'm centered or not. Well, that's good enough. Okay. So now I have to fold this together, and I have to fold this down. And there's my accordion. So I have to tape the other side. Got to tape both sides. And I won't bother taping the other side on camera just for time's sake, because my tape got all stuck and everything. So I'll tape that side and I'll tape this side. And then I'll just come back and trim off the edges. Trim off my edges of my tape. Just like that. And you want your tape to overlap so that it sticks together. Overlap the edge. Okay, there we go. So now, here's my concertina. Now I want a front flap and I want a back flap. So I have this extra little flap on the back. I'm just going to cut mine off. Okay. So, front flap, back flap. Just like that. And there's our concertina that we will create on this week. Oh, I feel like I want to add one more. Well, we'll see. If I get to the end and I'm like, I need more space, I will. Okay. So that is creating our concertina. Now we are ready. So these are pages that have been gessoed on front and back. I have taped them. I have them ready to go. And we will start our first section and then kind of move throughout the concertina throughout the week. I don't know exactly how many videos that will be, but we'll see. Okay, my loves, that is our adventure this week. I hope you enjoy it. I can't wait. I've been waiting for this. I've been thinking about the stencils and excited to create some fun winter joy. I hope you check out the stencils, and they will be on sale for the next week. So this Sunday and next Sunday, through this Sunday and through next Sunday. That's how long they will be on sale for. So you can check them out and get them if you choose. All right, my loves, let's have a fun, creative week this week. I hope your Sunday is restful and peaceful, and I hope that you always, always know that you are loved. Okay, loves, I've got a bunch of collage papers out. A lot of these will be available for you in the resource library and in the membership. They're Christmas themed papers for the most part, and then there's just some scraps mixed in as well. So you can get your hands on some of those. I'm using matte gel to put my papers down with. I don't necessarily have a plan of where they're going. I'm just trying to vary some of the color, and that is it. I will cover all of the pages the same way and just continue. I will cover all of the whole concertina, and using my matte gel, I am spritzing my papers with water because I know I've got a lot of layers to go, and I want this somewhat smooth. It doesn't have to be perfect. I'm using my dough scraper to scrape it out and make it nice and smooth. So there you have the entire background so far. Then I've got just a few bits and pieces of some cuter papers that I want on the top, and I'll just arrange those wherever I think I might want them, just to kind of break up some of the bigger papers and that kind of thing. So now that all my papers are down and my background is dry, I'm going to create the entire background. I'm using Prism Violet, Permanent Violet Deep, Alizarin Crimson Hue, Olive Green, Cobalt Blue, and I'm just wetting the background, laying down some color, just kind of swishing it around. I'll swish it with my hands, with my brush, just get it nice and soupy so that it can kind of pool and kind of do its own little thing. And I'm letting some of those colors mix together, but I am placing them farther, apart, and then somewhat mixing them together. If I mix them all together, we'd end up with a bunch of mud, and I don't want that. So as it starts to get mixed, I'm using my heat tool and I'm just drying it so that it doesn't mix too much and make mud. So now I've got the entire background done for my concertina. I did it the exact same way all the way through. I've got my 2 new stencils, berries and evergreens and rambling eucalyptus. I've got some unbleached titanium, and I do add a little bit of Titan buff to it. This first one was pure unbleached titanium, but the next one is a mixture of Titan buff and unbleached titanium because I wanted it a little bit lighter. But I'm just kind of alternating the stencils. And with the rambling eucalyptus that I just did, the front is wet with paint. So I thought, you know what, I'm just going to stamp it onto the next section. And I loved it. And just pressing it down, and that's so pretty. Both stencils are just so great. So I'm going to do the same thing again. This one's with the berries and evergreens. And then I'll stamp this one. Love it, love it, love it. And then I'm just going to continue to roll out the rest. And I had a little bit of paint left over on this one. I thought I'd stamp it kind of right in the in-between spot where there was a little missing. And now we've got our entire background done for our whole concertina. Super simple, super easy. So I didn't have a plan, and this is what I love about the concertina. It just allows you to kind of go with the flow, find ideas in the background. The reason I did do this background and the reason I did my other concertina with this kind of background, because there's things in it that you can start to see, and if you pay attention, you'll find them. Different shadows, different branches, different things that might be sticking up that could resemble things. And so that's kind of what I'm doing. I'm looking at the background and allowing it to kind of lead the way to where I want to go. So I put my trees down. That's the 5x8 tree duo with mask. And I used both the stencil and the mask. I loved the kind of marks in the background, and I thought that would be kind of cool behind the stencil mask. I'm using olive green and a little bit of raw umber. And I painted some of the background green because I wanted it to just kind of maybe represent some greenery, trees, that kind of thing. With all of the branches and movement, I thought it worked. So I've got some Payne's gray, watered down, just kind of creating this kind of deep, broody sky. Then this is the cobalt blue that I have kind of underneath that Payne's gray. And I'm looking at the background, and I'm looking at how some of the lines form with the branches and how it kind of represents possible mountains and different things like that. And just looking and seeing. And that's one of my favorite things, is to find something in the design of the stencil background to lead the way. So I just kind of lead and make my heels and things like that. I'm kind of creating some shadow trees in the background. Not perfectly. This whole concertina is not about perfection. It's about play and just relaxing and being in the moment and enjoying the time to reflect, and each section what it means, and finding our story and meaning in the season. A little bit more Payne's gray at the top. And then I'm going to stencil out my snowflakes. And I'm going to go crazy with my snowflakes because I love them. And I'm using the masks too, and just kind of watering out the edge so it doesn't feel too stark and harsh. but sometimes when it's snowy, the sky's kind of misty and kind of purpley and gray, and I love that. And so that's kind of what I'm thinking about. I'm just thinking about the time and the moment, and I'm not looking at or thinking about, well, does this make sense? I just want to go with what feels right. And I started adding this paint, and then there looked like there were more mountains in the background, and I could just see all kinds of things happening. You can see there, I see, oh, these shapes right here can resemble mountains. And so I just went with it. I didn't second guess myself. I used my charcoal pencil to kind of outline the trees roughly because I wanted them to kind of be vague. A little bit of olive green and raw umber on my brush to kind of beef up the trees. A couple of them. I don't do them all this way, but just to give them a little bit of definition so that they will stand out just a tiny bit, because there's a lot going on in the background. And I try to keep some of the tree lines not quite so visible in that bunch of trees, just so that it feels like one big, long field of trees. Adding a little bit of snow onto my tree with just some gesso. And I'm adding a little bit more blue to the background just to kind of push back some of the background now that I've got some of my focal points in. Not too much, because that background's what makes the whole thing, in my opinion. And but just kind of trying to separate some of the elements from each other. That's that kind of white, it's not smoky, but it misty, snowy sky. I love it when that happens. Filling in a little bit more of my field, and this is a mixture of teal and cobalt blue. And I didn't want it to be too conventional. I wanted there to be, of course, this isn't conventional at all considering the background, but, you know, my colors and my choices and things like that don't have to make sense. So I added a little bit of raw umber, more raw umber at the bottom, and now I'm coming back in with soft pastels and just kind of highlighting some areas, adding a little bit more depth and separation from certain areas. But soft pastels are a great way to do that without completely covering up things. And I've got this is a blue, like a Payne's gray soft pastel, making some starry marks with my soft pastel pencil. And I really wanted to give some depth up the top and at the bottom to really kind of make your lights lighter and your darks darker, to really kind of bring something alive. A little bit of that olive green soft pastel on the bottom. Adding a little bit of depth to my trees. And then some snow, and all the rest of this is really kind of finishing touches. Adding my soft pastel and soft pastel pencil, charcoal pencil, all those kinds of things are just the little tiny bits that really make a lot of difference. Those tiny details, the shading, the soft touches, and I don't shade around completely everything, just in some of the intersections of things that need a little bit more shadow or light, like snow. Then I decided I wanted to add one more tree in there, just to kind of complete this section. And while that's drying, I've got a gold leaf pen out, and creating some additional stars in the sky. I love this pen. And don't forget, all the supplies will be listed on the blog, and the link to the blog is down below in the YouTube description box. Adding a little bit more depth with a really dark raw umber soft pastel. And I overdid it down here. And I realized it, and I'm like, oh shucks. So I just really wiped it up and kind of smeared it, and then came back in again with my snow to soften it back down, and that I was happy with. Now that my tree's dry, I can come back in and add some shading and additional depth to it. And I did try to make each of my trees a slightly different color, just because it adds more interest. And then just adding my final touches of white. And that's about it, my friends. I hope you enjoyed today's project, and I will see you tomorrow for the next section. And we will be creating this throughout the week. So I hope you enjoy it and you have fun and do it too.